Tell us what you found and the circumstances.
Well, I had this field, and I've been metal detecting this field for about a year. And gradually, I was sort of, you know what it is, you get onto the field, and gradually the field gets sort of quieter and quieter and quieter. They had this one field behind the house which was just full of Victorian stuff, absolutely crammed. And no matter how many times we go on there, there's always this Victorian stuff coming up. And then this other field that was just sort of, it had lumps and bumps, it had a few lumps and bumps, but nothing sort of major. And about just before Christmas, just before the lockdown, I came onto the field and I metal detected this field, and there was this banging, real sort of pinging, banging signal, as I call them. And I sort of, it looks a bit irony, So I thought, well, the landowner's a farmer. He might like to see the ploughshare point, because that's what I thought it was. So I started digging down, and once you start digging down, you can tell it's going to be iron.
Yeah,
So
just before we go any further, of course, you're on a dais, aren't you?
No, CTX.
You're on a CTX then, okay, yeah.
And I was digging. You get a screen and you can see the dots that come up on the screen. You can tell what sort of metal it is, or if it's iron or something decent. And so I was digging down, and I came across this object about 2 feet down, about 20 inches, and it was obviously a ploughshare point. So I started digging around it, and I thought, oh, this is an odd shape. Should I go and shall I go and get it, and then I can reveal it?
Yes. Now this will be interesting.
All right, okay. So I was digging down. I got to this shape, and I thought, oh, it's an odd shape. So eventually I sort of worked it a bit loose, and I just sort of yanked it, because I thought it was going to be a ploughshare point. And this is what came up.
Spearhead.
Anglo Saxon spearhead.
Whoa. That's a beaut.
I put this light on. Ooh, it's a bit bright, actually.
No, that's okay. At least it illuminates the spear. That's great.
So yeah, that was amazing.
So they have put a firm date on that. Then it looks Anglo-Saxon, doesn't it?
Well, I sent it to my finds liaison officer. Ooh, just turn this off. And he was unsure of the date. And of course, during the lockdown, I thought, well, time had passed, and I thought, well, I'll send it to him again. And he asked me to get a tape measure and just put some inches on it so he could look at it properly. And then he sent it to some chap in London, and it came back as Anglo-Saxon, which was amazing.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. The closest I've ever come to finding anything in the way of spears or stuff was a fragment of pulse stave. That's all I've had. I can't even find a whole pulse stave.
So after that, I thought, well, this site's just gone elevated from Victorian rubbish to, a really good site. Yeah. So then I started concentrating. Then I then got out my GPX 5000, which is a pulse induction metal detector.
Yeah.
They use it in the Australian gold field.
Yes.
Especially. So I got that out and I started detecting around. And then I found about 30 feet away, I found a Saxon buckle. It's nothing special, just a little D buckle.
Yeah.
And then I sort of then spoke to my finds liaison officer, and he said, "Whoa, it looks like it could be a graveyard."
Oh my golly!
And I thought, "Whoa, graveyard!" So then I really sort of took interest in the area, and in the nearby field, there was the grass was a little bit shorter, but there were these lumps and bumps.
Right.
So I went into this nearby field where these lumps and bumps were, and when I had a sort of good look at them, I thought they looked like medieval fish ponds. They were quite big banks and shallow bottom.
Right. Yeah.
Like fish ponds usually are. And so I was detected between these two gates for about a week, and I found a hammered coin and a few nice William III sixpences. And then I was looking around and I thought, oh, there's a lot of the field had quite long grass. And I was looking around and I thought, oh, there's a patch over there. It's a bit shorter. So I wanders over there and starts detecting. And it gets this signal, which you don't think it's just another signal, right? You know, out of the thousands of signals that you get.
Yeah.
And I sort of dug down to it and there was a root. And I snapped it up. I thought it was like electricity cable. And sort of, I snapped it off and chucked it. But when I chucked it with a handful of dirt with it.
Yeah.
Just chucked it. And then I got the pin and I put it back down the hole and I was rooting around it. Oh, it's gone, it's gone. So it must have been in that dirt. So I pushed the pinpointer over and there was something on edge and I just flipped it over and there it was. It was just unbelievable.
Wow. Now, did you keep any pictures of it? Because I know you've handed it in, haven't you?
No, I haven't handed it in yet. I've still got it.
Oh, in that case, can you show it on screen now?
I can.
And can you send me some pictures of it for me?
Yeah, I can. Right, let's see if I can do this.
Oh, oh my golly!
Right, if I got it right, well, that's the back side.
Yeah. Oh my golly!
Well, it was bent over. You can see the crease.
Yeah, yeah.
So I eased it very carefully over, but it's quite bendable. I could easily bend it over.
That is amazing. A clear photograph of that would be brilliant. If you can take a few of those for me and send them over.
Yeah, I got I had a proper photographer take some pictures, so I got some really nice pictures.
Oh, good. Now tell us what it is, because hopefully there will be people watching this who don't know anything about it. So for the benefit of them and the benefit of me as well, just tell us exactly what it is, everything you know about it.
Right, it's a gold noble from Philip the Bold, and it's a continental noble.
Right.
And as far as I know, the English bought. He had wool in his country, like sheep, and the English. Just turn that off. The English wanted to buy his wool, but he insisted that they paid for it in gold nobles. And he had a bunch of these gold nobles made, and for reasons I can't remember whether he had them made or they had them made anyway. So he had them made, and but they were substandard in the gold, so they were a bit lesser quality than the English nobles. And when they sort of they exchanged, the English started complaining that these nobles were in their pockets, so every time they got a handful of coins out, these gold nobles were in their pockets and they were substandard.
Well, how ungrateful can you get? Oh my golly.
And it's all online. It's all, there was all this trading going on in the 1300s.
Yeah. So your story is going to be appearing in, is it the Treasure Hunter or the Searcher?
The Treasure Hunter magazine, yeah.
Oh, do they know when yet?
No, I haven't sort of finished the story. I'm still trying to work on it.
Right. Okay.
So
that's gonna be a front page. It must be.
Well, it's pretty unusual, isn't it?
It is. It is an unusual one. Yeah, because I don't think I've seen a continental gold noble before. I've seen plenty of gold nobles. I've never seen one in the flesh or held one. So I can just imagine how excited you'd be, because I know how I'd feel.
Well, if you've watched the video, you see me freaking right out because I made a complete video of the whole.
Well, the thing is, I haven't done yet because I wanted to interview you first, and then ask your permission. If I see certain clips which are brilliant, can I just steal some clips from your video? Because YouTube obviously will probably raise a copyright problem and notify you that it's a copyright infringement, and it'll be me. So I'll just take a few clips to show people, but I need your permission first.
Yeah, you can have my permission.
Lovely job.
I forgot to do an intro on the next video because I was in such a state after finding the noble, it just went out of my mind. And if you thought I was shaking when I did the noble video, you haven't seen nothing yet, because when I started digging one hammy after the other, I really started to freak out. Enjoy. Cheers.
Well, that is really super. So what's the next step?
Well, the next step is to when the finds liaison officer comes back to the museum. Obviously, then I will probably send him back in the form that you've got to fill out for treasure.
Yeah.
And I keep asking him, but he never sort of replies. So I don't think they're back at the museum.
So for the benefit again of, because I've been doing a lot about the Treasure Act just recently, because I've got the 1996 Treasure Act book in my hand, which you can't see. Which was given to me to study in depth when I was a volunteer recorder for the BM and the PAS. So since then, there's been a revision of the Treasure Act, hasn't there, where even one coin can now be declared as treasure rather than before it was a hoard, which means two or more. So
Yeah.
do you know, can you explain what why you're handing that one in, whereas before the amendment it wouldn't have been declared treasure, but now it is?
They've actually come up with the classification now, have they? Because I thought they were still in review.
You think it's still in review?
Well, I've heard nothing about it actually becoming law, and now since the lockdown has been going on, I'd imagine that they probably haven't, have they? I don't know.
I haven't got the review, but I understand that it's now one coin or any item of metal, no matter what the metal, if the valuation is deemed to be in excess of £10,000. I think with a coin, it's now a single coin of precious metal, and I'm not quite sure of the value limitation on that. I'm not up to date on the review.
Well, when I hold on. What makes it treasure is because when I dug that, I also found these as well. So I've got a load of hammered coins with it. Ooh, blimey.
In the same hole.
Yes.
In that case, that is probably the main reason why it's treasure then, because there's any group of two or more coins over 300 years old which contain 10% silver or gold. So yeah, there is a chance, of course, they'll be disclaimed, which does cause you problems if that's the case, because it's who gets the gold coin, you or the landowner. And that is why when I found my merchant's ring, I was so pleased because the landowner wanted it, I wanted it. So when they claimed it and paid out the reward value, that solved all the problem.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the fines liaison officer has already told me that I'll probably be getting this coin back.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe it until it happens, but it's a good sign anyway. But yeah, you'll probably need to get a true valuation on that because it's unique, being continental. But I don't think it'll be worth as much as an English one.
I've been looking online recently and looking at these continental nobles, and you're right, it's not worth as much. And there's also, I'll send you a picture. It's been defaced, so the king's face has been rubbed out.
Oh,
and his shield, there's on his shield there's two parts where there's fleur de lis, and the other two parts of the flag of where he comes from.
Right, yeah.
His flag, and somebody has scratched out his flag.
So it looks like he wasn't a very popular then.
Well, no, because at the time when these nobles were complaining about the substandard coins, it's been documented that there was they call it the War of the Gold Nobles.
Ah, right, okay.
So there was a lot of aggravation going on between the two sides, if you like. So that's well, I've seen other nobles exactly the same as this, and they're like in perfect condition.
Yeah.
His face has been rubbed out and scratched. His flag has been scratched. So I'm thinking probably just over £1,000 for this one.
Right. Okay. Well, that's not to be sniffed at, but you wouldn't sell it anyway, would you?
But an English one is going to be 9,000.
Yeah. You're right there. Well, that beats me because I was out recently and got 7 Martini Henry lead bullets and 3 musket balls. But there you go. Right, what I'll do now then is I'll expect some photographs from you. That would be really nice. A link to the any information you've got online, so I can include it in my video description. I'll also put a link to your channel in the video description as well, so people can come and look at the actual video. But I'll take 1 or 2 interesting clips from it just to show on this one as we're talking.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's been brilliant, and this great outdoors that we have is full of surprises. And
But I'll tell you what, that's the second gold coin I found in 7 months.
yeah, that's the thing, you see. Once you find one, they keep coming. I was looking for my first Roman brooch. I'm on Roman land all the time, and I couldn't find a Roman brooch. So far, about 170 silver Roman denarius, but I couldn't find a Roman brooch. And all of a sudden, I found one, and then I found about 5 the rest of the year.
Well, it's because it's the Roman stuff. The metal is actually really rubbishy. You know, even though they actually come up looking fantastic for a 2,000-year-old coin, the actual signal itself is just really sort of ugh,
Yeah.
You know, so people think that it's going to be rubbish, so they don't dig the signal.
Well, it weren't me, I can tell you. I was digging every signal. Ironically, all the Roman brooches I found were all on different permissions. So they just suddenly started revealing themselves to me, which is great. Craig, thank you so much. It's been really great for you to come on and tell me your story. Hopefully it's be in the Treasure magazine soon so everybody can read it. And I'll say cheerio to you and thanks for sharing, mate. I'll send you a message now.
All right. Cheers then. Thanks then.
Cheers, pal. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.